Hello everybody and welcome everybody. Welcome to Discovering Thailand. And I am live from Chiang Mai in the north of Thailand. And how is everybody? Just do a quick audio check. Are we okay? I think we should be. My bars are lighting up nice and strong, so we should be good, and our pictures should be okay. And I will get rid of that echo because I was just having that make sure the stream is showing up properly. So there we go. Fantastic. Mr. Hobby Time, hello sir, welcome. Good to see you there. Let me just sort myself out here and get things worked in control. Okay. So it's a really nice day up here in northern Thailand at the moment. It's warming up already. I'd say it's in the low 30s right now at 9 a.m. The sun is shining. There's not many clouds out and the humidity is building up. I've just drawn the curtains across in my condo. I get the sun come through here in the morning for the first 3 hours. G'day Wazza. G'day mate. And the sun just brings in the heat, so I've drawn the curtains across to black that out, so I'm not so hot. The fans are looking really good though. Sorry, the ceiling fan is running well, so it's keeping a little bit of a breeze happening. Hello, Trip on Two Wheels. How are you, buddy? Welcome. You're too dark. Could use more lighting. Yeah, well, yeah, I know. I could fix that a little bit. Let me just fix that for a moment. Okay. Okay. Let's see if is that going to make a bit of a difference? Got a bit more light evenly across. That's about the best we're going to get anyway. So there you go. That is actually a new desk lamp I bought a couple of weeks ago, and it's really, really good. If I just shine it against the wall, get the reflection off the wall, I get a good light. So there we go. A new background. I got a feeling that's one of the big temples over in Bangkok somewhere. So that's come up okay. Other than that, everything's looking good. The weather, like I said, is fine. Anthony Jones, hey buddy, welcome. Welcome, mate. I'm looking forward to doing a bit of shopping today. I have to do some grocery shopping. The fridge is getting light. The cupboards are bare. I need more coffee. More coffee. Yeah. What I'm after is some local coffee. I'm just an instant coffee person. That's all I'm happy with. But it's expensive. Like the old Nescafe instant coffee here is more than it cost me back home to buy. So what I'm thinking is there must be some local coffee I could get. So I'm going to a different supermarket to my usual one. Normally I go to the Rimping market up here, which I did the video on with all the price check stuff on all the products and everything. And that's where my normal go-to for supermarket. But I've been given a heads up of trying a place called Tops Supermarket, about 5 minutes down the other end. I've been there for a look, but it was quite a while ago. I don't really remember. So I'm going to head down there pretty much straight after the stream and jump on the motorbike and go down there and grab the usual honey, jam, bread, and milk and a few other bits and pieces. So looking forward to that. Also, my new chair came, so I'm really, really happy about that. What I'll do is I put a picture of it up. Now, I think I might have shown what the chair looks like in the last week. It was a brown coloured one. You wouldn't believe it. On the day I'm waiting for it to be delivered here, I just quickly check on Messenger and I asked them, do you know what time it'll be delivered? Because I wanted to go out. I didn't want to hang around all day. And they said something about having to sign for it, which is strange. It's sort of Lazada. You don't usually have to sign for it. They just leave it downstairs with security. But anyway, and they let me know after I checked early in the morning that it never arrived at the warehouse and they don't have it. It's not available. Great. So, 4 days waiting for it, and then to find out through me asking that it's going to arrive. And anyway, so they didn't have what I wanted, so I had to skip that, and I went through another supplier on Lazada and I ordered a new chair, very similar, just a different colour. So let's bring that across. There it is. So as you can see, it's quite comfortable, and the most important part about it is that it's fixed my sore shoulder. The sharp pains I was getting in the back of my shoulder blade and my neck, gone. From the moment I sat in this chair, pain is gone. So I'm really, really happy about that. That's fantastic. So what I'm going to do is, now it does come with a backrest on it, but for some reason I can't get that to fit. I got a feeling I'm missing a part. It's not sitting on there properly. They sent me a video to show me how it goes on, or how you put the whole chair together, but for some reason it just didn't. The last 3 seconds of the video showed the backrest being fitted, and it didn't show anything really. Anyway, I don't need the backrest, unless I move the chair over in front of the TV and watch a Netflix movie and want to tilt back, but that's okay. Hello Scott and Mike, how are you, mate? I'm new. Good to hear people who live there. I'm coming in October. Oh, good one, mate. Perfect time of the year, I hear as well, October. That's the peak time. I don't know how it could get better than it is right now, but apparently it does. I think it's more colourful, more flowers and more scenic. Everything's greener, well into the rainy season. So, oh, that's great. That's great. Are you coming from somewhere else in Thailand, or are you coming from overseas? And Scott there, hello, mate. The new chair, believe it or not, was only 70 Australian dollars, or about 1,500 baht, Thai baht. So it was a cheap one. I wasn't expecting it to be, I mean, I put the thing together. It's not, it's not your office quality leather chair, but hey, it fixed my back, and as long as I take care of it, I'm sure it'll last me and I'll get my value out of it. So there you go. And was it saying they are needing new chairs on Tracy Island? Okay. But yeah, it was good. Lazada, it was good. It's smaller than it looks, but I'm not a big person. If you're a larger person, you might find this a little bit narrow, but it's actually perfect for me, and even the armrests are perfect. So if anything, my desk, which is not really a desk, this is just a wooden top table that's legs fold out, and it's just sitting here like a trellis, I guess you'd call it, and it's higher than a normal desk by about an inch or two. So I do know that reaching for the mouse, my arm is tilted up just a slight little bit, but who knows? I mean, in reality, I could swap my desk around. I've got a proper desk over on my left here. So anyway, that's enough about the chair. Fantastic. And I would like to thank contributors to this channel. That is everybody who has either joined it, become a member, or subscribed, and who watches my videos, because I'm a fresh channel. I'm a new channel. I've just gone over the 1,500 subscribers here, which is fantastic. And to be honest with you, for the month, Google and YouTube paid me about $50. So it pretty much nearly covered the cost of my chair here. So thanks, guys. Here's Mike. Hello, Mike. I'm going to get rid of this picture of the chair. Let me take that away. There we go. Coming from Daytona Beach, Florida. Oh, nice. I've had enough of the crazy West. I'm retired and looking for a new adventure. Oh, well, there you go. Have you been to Thailand? My next question would be, have you been to Thailand before? Because Yeah, yeah. It's a place like anywhere. If you're going to make a big trip overseas, you want to visit first and see if it's your kind of thing. Was I say, hey Pete, how have you settled into your new life in comparison to your previous life in Australia? Yes. Sorry about the noise. You might be able to hear that in the background. Every now and then, well, not very often at all, but every now and then they have cars go by with loudspeakers, usually advertising the latest Muay Thai boxing challenge that might be coming up or something like that. I'm guessing anyway, it's in Thai, but usually the signs on it are all of the boxing stadium. And you've never been. Oh, well, it'll be an adventure for you, mate. It'll be an adventure for you. And if you need to know anything other than what I've already put out on my videos on the channel, hey, just email me. There's Discovering Thailand 00. The email address is in the description underneath the live stream video here. And you can email me if you've got any questions and stuff. You want to know a bit more, tips and stuff. I've been living here only since March this year, but I've been coming out here nearly every year for the last 10 years to Thailand, so I'm reasonably familiar with the place. But I can tell you, of all the times I've been coming out here, it's just it really is literally a new experience every time. There's just so much to see and do. My home goes on the market in September, hoping for a quick sale. Oh, good luck. Good luck. I hope you get one too. That's good, mate. That's good. Are you on your own? Are you bringing any family or anything? Sorry if I'm asking too much, but... But settling in? Yeah, I've settled in. The holiday period is over by about a month or so. It took a couple of months to realise that, hey, I'm living here now, and that this isn't just a holiday. And I'm used to having long holidays. Every year I go away somewhere for a month or so. Recently years before COVID hit, I was in Africa. I went to Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania. Loved Africa. I've been there several times. And, for a month, 6 weeks at a time. But now it's great. I'm here and it's permanent. You're single and happy. Yeah, good on you. Same here, mate. Same here. That's great. That's good. Well, you'll be used to the climate, I guess, being from Florida. Plenty of sun here. No beaches though. Although I actually found a beach. All right. So Thailand. Chiang Mai is up in the north of Thailand, and it's a long way from the beach. If you need to go to a beach, you need to hop on a plane and fly down south, but it's cheap to do that. I mean, for $100 you can fly down and spend a week down on a beach somewhere or on one of the islands. Up here, we're up in the forests, the jungles, the mountains. It's different, but there is a beach. I've seen a beach. I went to the beach just a couple of days ago. In fact, there's a video coming out. Now, let me think. I'm pretty sure I don't even remember if I've done that video or not and edited it. Anyway, in the next week or two, there'll be a video coming out about Chiang Mai's beach. All right. And I'm serious. There's like sand, there's deck chairs, cabanas, and you can lay by the waterside. Fantastic. I mean, really, what makes a beach? As long as there's sand, right? And it's by the water, it's a beach. I mean, in Europe, you have beaches that have pebbles instead of sand, but there's still a beach. And up further in Europe, there's lakes that have beaches. So, I mean, it's not an Aussie beach, there's no surf. It's actually a reservoir, and that these people have made a big... it's not a hotel or anything like that either. You can't stay there, but it's got a reception area. There's a place to eat and coffee, and they do lunches and food, and it's quite nice and great photo opportunities. But you'll love it. It's great. Interesting video. So keep an eye out for that. In fact, on that trip, I discovered a couple of places which I might do a second video out of as well. Was it saying I prefer swimming pools more than a beach, but it's nice to go for a holiday? Well, that's right. I grew up in the beaches. I used to go surfing in Sydney all the time. I moved to Queensland for the weather and for the beaches. I was surfing in Surfers Paradise. Loved it. But what I really like is the sun. I just like laying out there and working on the... There we go. That sounds like a Harley going past. Quite a lot of Harley riders around here in Chiang Mai. If you're into bikes, this is the place. So I like just getting the tan. So I'm not missing the beach. And even when I was last year, I went down to Koh Chang, which is a beautiful beach down south. I will never forget running out across the sand and running out into the water and jumping into the surf, and it was like jumping into a hot bath. It was hotter in the water than it was outside, and it was like 35 degrees on that day, Celsius. Amazing. So there was nothing refreshing about the beach. There's no surf anyway. It's the Bay of Thailand, so it's not a surf beach anywhere really in Thailand. Pools are cooler, much more refreshing, and it's just my condo here, as you've seen, go downstairs and jump in the pool and do a few laps and cool off, and then jump out and lay on the deck chair for a while. And you can sit in the shade or the sun. So, yeah, I'm not missing the beaches, so it's really good up here. What else? Mike's saying, honestly, I've watched a ton of videos on Hua Hin, Pattaya. I'm not sure where I will settle, but I'm excited for a new beginning. Yeah, well, that's good. I chose Chiang Mai mainly because of the activities available up here. I'm a motorcycle rider. I love doing motorbike riding. In Australia, I had a Suzuki V-Strom 1000, and I travelled all over New South Wales and Queensland, and did a trip around Australia, and loved it. So I like riding motorbikes, and over here they got some amazing mountains and some incredible roads and lakes and rivers you can go out to, and monasteries and temples out there, and just so much. There's just so much. The waterfalls, the hot springs. None of that is in Hua Hin or Pattaya. Okay, those places are great if you want to lay on the beach and do that every day. Pattaya, if you're a drinker and you want to go to the pubs and the bars, good. I don't drink, so that wasn't an attraction for me. We have a walking street up here, which walking street is the equivalent of the main street for all your bars and stuff. We have one here as well. That's quite a big street. I walked it the other night. There's quite a lot here. But it's low season now. There's not many foreigners or there's expats, but to be honest, most expats don't go to the bars in Walking Street. They have their own local bar somewhere. We don't get hit like the tourist thing with the girls and the massage places and all that, which is all what those streets are about. All good. Enjoy it, go for it, do what you want, enjoy it for a while. But if you're going to live here, be careful. You don't want to get caught in the trap of finding the girl of your life, that perfect girl that is your dream girl. As to be honest with you, I sat there in a bar 2 weeks ago. I had one beer with one girl. It was very quiet, and she sat there and spoke to me and talked to me for about half an hour, maybe a bit longer. And during the conversation, she said to me, "You're a nice guy," and she says, "Because of that, I'll come over and speak to you because we're not busy here. There's no foreigners, there's no tourists in the street, and we don't want nice guys in our bar. All right, they want rowdy guys with money to spend on drinks and to party. they're the ones they want because it's a business. They're there for the business. So her tip for me, being very nice, she was very nice, saying, if you want to find nice girls because you're a nice guy, go to places like coffee shops and markets and places like that. Don't come to the bars. You won't find nice girls in the bars, and that's the fact. In 99% of the cases, all right? I won't say 100%. You won't find that perfect girl in a bar, because I did. Okay, 10 years ago in Pattaya, in a bar, I hooked up with a girl and we stayed together for 10 years. How's that? So how about that? And I didn't get treated like an ATM or any of those things like that. I used to come over every year, and she moved back home with her family, and we kept up a relationship, FaceTime on the phones, and coming over here once or twice a year if I could, and for 10 years. So yeah, unfortunately that didn't eventuate. Last year we split up. So yeah, family is a big thing for Thai people, very big thing for Thai people. Hello Scaly Models, how are you, mate? Welcome. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. They're very family orientated, and to the point where I wasn't prepared to move into the small, tiny village to live with her, because it was just, I'd go out of my mind. There was just nothing to do. To give you an idea, the whole village where she came from had 2 7-Elevens. And if you're from Thailand, you get an idea of just how small a place is if it only has 2 7-Elevens. Okay? So, and she wasn't ready to move to Chiang Mai, which is a good 800 kilometres away from where her family and their business, their restaurant business is. So, we just decided that the best thing is to split up and go our separate ways, and that's what we did. There you go. Enough of me. Was it saying I moved out of my house this week in preparation for my move over? Yes, mate, that's good. Yes, I've heard that you're making the move. I'm going to have my sip of coffee. Excuse me. Very good. That's great, mate. That's great. It is a big move coming over, but God, you'll be so glad when you did. You really will. The first thing you'll say is, why didn't I do this earlier? And in my case, I'm not saying that because I wasn't ready to do this earlier. I've been planning. I knew that I was going to move here to live, I would say, when I met my girlfriend over here. Okay? So that was 10 years ago. And I would say in the last 5 years, okay, was when where I more seriously were planning to move over here. Over the last 5 years, I really seriously started researching and making the plans. Okay, now I had a pretty crap job in Australia, all right. I was doing security work, which was a good job. I was a security officer, and I had a wide variety of security work I did, and I loved that. But when I left that when COVID came, I got a job as a truck driver for a company, and it was pretty bad. It was low pay. It was, 4 days a week. And anyway, I made what I could out of that, and I started saving for this big move over here. I'm only 57, okay? When I say only, I mean only, all right? I just turned 57, is it May? It's still May this month. Is it May? It's June, right? Gosh, see? I don't even know what day it is, let alone what month it is. My God. All right, so last month, I turned 57, okay? So retirement age is not until you're 65. Well, in my case anyway. So 65 pension, okay? I can come over, like a lot of people do, and they live over here where their pension gets you a lot more than it does in Australia. So I'm well off. That's 13 years away, okay? But what's not 13 years away is my superannuation. And in Australia, for anyone who's not in Australia, when you start working, that's right, I am just a young pup. When you start working in Australia, your employer, it's compulsory for them to put money aside, put money away to the government into superannuation for you, okay? And you can contribute to that as well. So when I started work, I started contributing that, and I'm talking about as an apprentice, way back, all my working life. So I've stopped work now, and I've got my superannuation just sitting there. Either it's earning crap interest or whatever, I haven't checked, but it's there. I'm not losing money, but I've got quite a good nest egg sitting there, which I can access when I turn 60 in 3 years. Okay, so my goal when I came to Thailand was to save up enough money to be able to live over here for 3 years, because when that 3 years comes by on my birthday, I don't even have to go back to Australia. All I have to do is send an email to my superannuation fund with my banking details and so forth, and that big nice lump sum of money will end up in my bank account. And then I'm set, okay? Then I'm set for the next 10 years till I'm entitled to my pension, my Australian retirement pension. So yeah, 3 years. So 3 years. Now that was not easy, saving up for 3 years to get what I needed to live over here. Like I said, I wasn't on a very high paying job. I got the job just about a year after COVID hit, when things were settling down, I think. Yeah, things were starting to settle down a bit, although it was pretty strict in Australia. Being a truck driver, I had to drive interstate. I literally had to go for COVID tests 3 times a week and have to have that negative result with me, because when you cross the border into Canberra in the ACT, you had to go through checkpoints and show you're clear of COVID, and they'd let you through. It was just a joke. Anyway, so it took all those years, and then of course prices went up, didn't they? In Australia, everything just went up exponentially for the last 3 years, and it was very hard to save up anymore. Your grocery shopping went up by at least 25%. I remember doing my online shopping from Coles and Woolworths, and I used to get it delivered. All right. First of all, the delivery fee was $5. Then it went between $10, $12 to $15, depending on the time of day. But I was originally paying $5 delivery. All the costs of everything went up. I lived on my own. I'm single, right? So my fortnightly shopping was only about $200 a fortnight. Okay. You know, frozen dinners, you know how it is, all that stuff, all right? So, but that went up by at least to $260, $270 for the same thing. And I know it's the same thing because I just checked the boxes of what I ordered the previous fortnight, taking off 1 or 2 things and adding a couple things, but it went up. I'll just catch up with chat. Mike saying, smart man, I'm 64 on my social security and pension, so I'm very fortunate and financially secure for the move. Good. Oh, that's good, mate. That's good. It's great to never have to worry about money again. And it's a very stressful thing to have to deal with all the time. And in Australia, it was getting really bad. Electricity bills went up by 30%, you know. Fuel went up, all right. All these things went up. And then the government just pissed you off even more, because then they go and give you, we're going to give you a supplement. We're going to hand out $200 to every Australian citizen to help pay for the extra expenses of cost of stuff. $200. Jesus. All right. That might cover the expenses for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But these were long-term in price increases, all right? And they never went down. They never went down. It is still as expensive, and it's still going up. Name me one thing in Australia that the price has gone down on. No. So, Darren's saying, What's a rough figure you save for a 3-year period? Okay, I'm 53 and I'm planning my move now. Much like you, I have good super, yes, but I just need to cover the next 5-6 years. Okay, right. Well, first of all, your biggest goal is to hit that. In my case, I'm on the retirement visa over here. Okay, retirement visa qualification requires you to have 800,000 Thai baht in a bank account over here. 800,000 Thai baht. We'll just do the quick maths. 800,000 Thai baht in Australian dollars. We'll stick with Australian dollars for the thing. That's 32,000. Is that right? Gosh, okay. 32,000 Australian dollars cash you need in your bank account here in Thailand, and you can't have those funds fall below that amount. And you need them there. You need that there for the 2 months leading up to you applying. So 2 months before you come over here and apply for your retirement visa, you need to have that in the bank account over here. All right. On my previous visits to Thailand, I opened up a bank account here years ago. So I already had that. And all I was doing was using Wise, okay, which I highly recommend. Again, the link is in the description, and you'll get, if you use that affiliate link there, you'll get a free transfers for a bit. There's something there. Anyway, check it out. So Wise account to transfer my money from my Australian bank account straight into my Bangkok bank account. But also, because I was coming over once or twice every year, I'd bring cash as well. You can bring in up to 10,000 US dollars in cash without declaring it. So I would come and bring 5,000, 6,000. I think there was one time when I bought 10,000 cash straight through. Then I went to the exchange, changed it, and then put it straight in the bank. One of my secrets to saving money was that I never keep money in the bank in Australia if I can help it. Every time I got paid, I would pay my bills, put the money aside I need for the fortnight, and then go to the post office. I was living in New South Wales and there weren't many Queensland Suncorp banks around, and take out all my savings from that fortnight's pay. And then I would take it home, put it away, and build it up. And I'd watch those, and I'd always take out $100 notes if I could, and I'd watch those $100 notes build up, and there'd be like 10,000 of them. Fantastic. Well, not 10,000 of them, but $10,000 worth, or 5,000. Actually, 5,000 was about that much wrapped in a rubber band. And I would go, great, and I'd put that there, and then I'd start on the next 5,000 bundle. And that was inspiration for me, because when you're out doing your thing every day, it's so easy to use that plastic card of yours and buy shit you don't need. But if you see something, go, oh, I could use a new iPhone, or I could use a new graphics card for this, or a new pair of whatever, you know. When you've got to think about it a bit longer, come back home, go to your money, look at it all, and go to break those $100 bills, you start having second thoughts and you think, do I really need that? No. And you put that $100 bill back, those money back, and you leave it there, and you save up. That's how I did it. So as for the amount, all right, so I had the 32,000, 33,000 for that, and then I needed money to live on. Okay, so I saved up another, let's say, by the time I left here, I had 1 million baht. Okay, so we're talking probably about an extra 200, 22,000 US. So I had 1 million baht saved up. Now, I knew that there were going to be other expenses. I didn't have a house to sell or anything like that. I sold my motorbike. I sold everything I had, all my furniture, everything. I sold all that, and most of the money I got from all of that went towards your first initial expenses when you get here. Okay, so when you move to another country, it would be the same. The visa cost me money because I went through an agent. Okay, I just felt it was easier for me in that first week or two of coming to Chiang Mai. And mind you, remember, I haven't been to Chiang Mai in about 9 years. I'd been here once visiting, but that was it. So I had to get familiar with the place again, find a place to live, find a place to rent. The minimum rent here is 12 months mostly. You can rent 6 months, but you got to find the right place before you commit to that. Work out where the supermarkets are and all the other stuff. So I went through a visa agent and I was happy to pay what I paid, and they did all the work for me. No problem. I left on a tourist visa, which I applied for before I left Australia. That gave me 60 days when I arrived here. And then I had an extension of stay done. That was done through the agents. So that was all included. They did that. They got all the paperwork together. They got the letter from the bank. They got all the stuff with my bank account funds all there. And we went through immigration, got all that, and it's done. And now my stamp in the passport is till May next year is when my retirement visa will need to be updated and renewed. And my 90-day reporting, I haven't done my first one yet. That'll be around about the first week of August. You can do that. I think it's up to 10 days before and a week after the date of it. But that's quite a simple thing to do. Just go to immigration. Your first time you have to do it in person. With a little bit of paperwork, it's simple. And then you come back with another little bit of paper saying the next date for your 90-day, which you can do online, or there's a drive-through. You can just hop on your motorbike and do a drive-through. It just takes minutes. Yeah. Okay, so going down to chat. So if you work out, like for me, for 3 years, I mean, I'm on a tight budget. I won't lie there. I'm on a tight budget, but I worked it out. I knew what I wanted to pay in rent. I knew what my expenses would be because I watched YouTube videos like what I'm producing to help people with the same plan as me. I watched other people's videos. I got an idea and I worked it out, and I'm good to go. All right. So yeah, my advice, if you're going to be and assuming you have no other income, other than the small amount of income I get from YouTube, which is not really that small, because when you convert the US dollars that you get paid or Australian dollars you get paid on YouTube, and that becomes Thai baht, I'm almost at the point, and I do have a second YouTube channel that earns a bit more than this, that's covering almost my rent here. So that's quite a nice contribution. So, but other than that, I do not have any other income, and it's just living off my savings. And I'll be scraping the barrel by the time 3 years comes around, but then that magic day will come and the nest egg will be, boof, I'm happy now. Time to upgrade. Time to buy a condo. That will be the plan. Yeah, buy a condo. And I'll tell you what else I'll do too, is I'll be buying gold. I've always said that, buying Thai gold. It's been a good investment for me when I did it last year, and I think it's a good future investment as well. Yeah. What is this Darren saying? So yeah, my rough figure, I would suggest you want probably, if you're going to last 5 or 6 years, you probably want to have about 3 million. But what's that going to cost you? 3 million, are we talking Australian dollars? 3 million Australian, there we go. That's not right. 3 million Australian dollars into Thai baht. No, we don't want 3 million Australian dollars. What am I saying? You don't need that much. Gosh, hey, if you had 3 million Australian dollars, you can go to Monaco, Monaco or somewhere, Paris. 3 million Thai baht in Australian dollars. That's better. Ooh, it's more than I thought too. What's the Thai baht value gone down? Is it still at 23, nearly 24 to the dollar? Anyway, $122,000. Not easy, but hey, still that's a lot of years. So yeah, $120,000. There you go. Or get a job, earn some money, start a YouTube channel. Who knows? Mike's saying, I'm not coming for love, I'm sure of that, but I do like some fun. Yeah, for sure. No problem. I'm not either. I'm enjoying my single life, and I don't plan on being anything but a happy single person for a few years, okay? Hey, I'm not saying I'm not open to something. You know, if I happen to bump into someone that's just, you just click, hey, no problem. But I know from experience, all right, that without sounding too forward to somebody you just meet, everything's going down on the table up front. This is who I am, this is what I'm about, this is what I want to be, this is what my plans are. The whole thing will come out, and if they're not happy with that, here we go. Time to make a decision already. Yeah. But, you know, I'll be honest, to have a bit of company would be nice, to go on these motorbike rides and visit these waterfalls and places. A bit of company would be nice. You know, a pretty face in my videos would probably do well for the views, wouldn't it? Certainly the haircut video did well. Hey? Thousands of you love that. Anyway. What else do we go? Darren's saying, yeah, we got that one. Yeah, just make the move. Make the move. To get the Australian pension, we have to return back to Australia and stay there for a couple of years after receiving it, apparently. Do you know anything about that? Well, first of all, that's not right unless you wrote that wrongly. Okay? You don't have to stay there a couple of years after receiving it. You need to stay there 2 years before you can receive it. So whatever the date is, going by, I think it's your date of birth, but whatever date that you can apply for your pension in Australia, you need to be living as a resident in Australia 2 years before that date. All right? Now, I know this is 12, 13 years away before I'll be having to worry about that, and things may change. Okay? So, what I'm just checking on is that we make sure we're still... I just got a message saying that YouTube is not receiving, but we're still up. It's okay. It's okay. So, yeah, 2 years before. So I need to be coming back to Australia when I turn 65, unfortunately. Save enough money of my superannuation to get me through that. Go on unemployment new start benefits as a 65-year-old. Shack up with a relative or something if I can, I don't know. And suffer in Australia for 2 years. Put in my application for the pension, get that, and then straight back here. Straight back here on the first flight. Okay? Now, I have heard... Yeah, you got it the wrong way around. Yeah, I thought you might have. I have heard that Australia has an agreement with about 12 countries around the world where you can actually go back and live in one of those countries for 2 years other than Australia. Now, there was a list somewhere, and I think there's some unusual countries, and Thailand is not one of them. I think Singapore is. I think a couple of countries in Europe might be Croatia or somewhere like that. Canada is, maybe the US, but I'm not sure. But you can do that instead. So there may be a cheaper alternative to going back to Australia. You could go to, I know there was a very cheap country in Europe, Malta, that was it. I could not think of that word before. Malta is one of the countries you could go back to and spend your 2 years there and then claim your pension. Now, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I have heard that that is possible to do that as an option. So, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, back to Oz. Yeah. Now, during those 2 years, doesn't mean you've got to stay in Australia. You can still come back over here or leave the country. But I think there's a limit. I think it's 3 months. I think 3 months of the year is the maximum before that breaks up your consecutive 2 years. So I could still come back. But then again, with the cost of the airfare and stuff like that, it's a long way off for me. I will probably own my own condo. If I have to come back for Australia, then I'll probably rent out my condo while I'm not here. Either way, rules and laws change too, even though that one hasn't changed for a long time, and it may not change, but we'll see what happens. What else we got? Mike saying, everything happening cost-wise, you speak of it the same in the US, absolutely crazy. Yeah, I know. It's the same in the US. I got a friend here in Canada who was telling me how bad it is up in Toronto where he lives. He's in the process of traveling around Southeast Asia to find a place to live because he wants to get out. Don't get me wrong, Asia's not immune to all the expensive costs of living prices going up it's around the world everywhere. It's just happening really fast. The increases in the last 3 years are probably the equivalent of what would have happened over the last 10 or 15 years previously. All right? And COVID kicked it all off. It was a major part of that. And it's just gone up that much really fast. And Thailand's the same. The price of fuel here is not cheap, and I'm sure that's really hurting the local people here. Their electricity bills have gone up here, but everything is much lower. I know their incomes are much lower, but from a foreigner's point of view, an expat's point of view, it's still cheap. All right. I mean, when I say, I can, make money from YouTube that might almost pay my rent of $8,000 a month. All right. That's, a few $100s off YouTube is you might think that's not much a month, but $300 a month that's my rent. Where in Australia or America or any Western country can you be renting a place for $300 a month? Not possible. Okay. So, if you can get a little bit of income and you're living off your savings of Australian dollars and you've budgeted properly, it's very cheap here. But again, people in Thailand are also suffering from how expensive it can be. It's gone up here. It's gone up in everywhere. I mean, even if you're coming over here for a holiday, I've looked at the prices of hotels accommodation. Very hard to find anywhere at all under $650 a night for a hotel. Very cheap, low-level hotels for about $600, maybe $500 if you're lucky, right? Whereas going back 3 years before COVID, or 4 years, 5 years, you could stay at some really nice mid-range places for about that price. It's changed quite a bit. What else? Catch up on chat here. Let's see. But yeah, America, everywhere it's gone up. 800,000 baht is just shy of 22,000 US dollars. That's right. Yeah, that always has to be in your account too. There is a moment there, a time where 2 months before you apply, and then I think it's a month after, you have to keep that amount above 800,000. But then during the year, you can let it drop to 400,000 baht. As long as 2 months before you renew your visa again, it's back at that 800,000. Well, if it drops to half the amount during the year, that means you've spent it, right? Where are you going to replace that for the 2 months before you need to renew your retirement visa? Your best thing is to just put it in the bank and forget about it. And I have recently found out that if you go I'm with the Bangkok Bank, okay, if you get an account with them, they can open up a separate account just for that money to sit in, and then they'll use that account to show immigration when you need to, that it's been sitting there. So you just put 810,000 baht in that account and leave it. And then when you need to do your shopping and your pay wave and your living expenses, use your other money into the account that's on that Visa card that the bank will give you. Use that for all your shopping and everything. And that way, you know you're never going to touch that 800 and just leave it there. All right. And the interest you get is crap. You won't get much interest. But seriously, some people say, oh, but the interest rate, you don't earn any interest on it. Sure you don't. Okay. But look, the amount of interest you earn these days on what is really is a small amount of money in the greater scheme of things, is nothing really. Compared to, just the currency exchange going up and down could make a difference of the interest you earn in a year on that amount of money. So if you play your cards right with Wise, for example, you can set any transfers to come from your Wise account to your Bangkok bank account when the exchange rate only hits a certain amount of money. Okay, that's one great thing about it, is you can upload, like right now, for example, I have about 12,500 in Thai baht sitting in my Wise account, right? And I have that set for one of the highest exchange rates. So for Australian, it was about 24.8, 24.7. So I've set it at 24.8. That's pretty high. So the moment that is what the exchange rate is that they're offering, it will automatically do that transfer and put it in my bank account over here, rather than me getting the exchange rate of 23 point whatever and lose a bit of money on the exchange. So you can look in at doing those options as well. Oh gosh. And by the way, that money I put in there was to cover my Australian passport renewal, which I had to do a month ago. And for those who haven't, and you might still have time, make sure you've got a good full passport, valid 10 years. If you've got like a year left on your passport, maybe get it done now if it's not too late, because the price is going up, I've heard. Apparently it went up earlier in the year, and it's going up on the 1st of July. And overall, the total amount it's gone up was about $100. It's going up by $50 odd this time. But I managed to do my renewal before the price went up. Once the application's in, it went by the date that I've applied. It still cost me $470 for the renewal of my passport, which I'm expecting any day now. It should come. I had a bit of a problem with the bank. The stuff I sent to the embassy included a funds transfer authorization from my Bangkok bank account. For some reason it didn't work and they couldn't get the money to pay for it, which was about 11,500 baht, $470 Australian. And it turns out that, I found out why it was taking so long. So they emailed me the QR code and I just scanned that, popped the receipt in the reply email, sent it back to them, and then 5 minutes later they said, yep, payment accepted, we've got your payment, we'll process your passport renewal now. So that's all getting done. These are all expenses that will come up, Well, I'm just checking where we are. Darren, was just saying, if you live away from Australia for a period prior to retirement, yes, you do have to return to Australia. But yes, you can still holiday in that time. That's right. Jeff Reed, hello, buddy. Sorry, I'm a bit late getting to you in chat. I start to talk and go off on another tangent. Do you need 2 lots of 800,000 baht if you're a married couple? Plan on selling up and moving to Thailand next year, Jeff from Sydney. I'm not sure about that. I don't think you do. Okay. I think you only need half that amount each. I'm not sure, okay? It's not something I went through the experience of having to deal with, so I never really looked into it. And but it's easy to find out. Yeah, it's pretty simple to find out, but I'm pretty sure you don't. I don't think you need to have double the amount. Yeah, and it is a different visa if you're a married couple as well. Okay, so there are different. It's different. Mike's saying, do you leave Chiang Mai during the burning season? All right, so let me have a sip of coffee. I'm getting hot here, eh? It's warming up. Okay, and burning season, for those who don't know, is between February and April, or let's say March and April. All right, and what it is when farmers around Thailand, all over Thailand, but mostly it's bad up here in Chiang Mai, burn all the crops to start for the fresh. It's all sugarcane. They burn it all. But I also found out that it's mushrooms as well. They'll burn under the forest canopy where they're not farming at all. They'll burn all the ground area to get fresh mushrooms come through, because mushrooms are a big thing here. So yeah, and it happens at this time of the year. And because Chiang Mai is in a basin, right, and surrounded by mountains, and there's not much wind, the smoke just settles down and sits in here, and it's like living. All right, I knew about the burning season before I came here, and the first thing I thought was, I'm coming right when it's going to start. Okay, so when I arrived here in the middle of March, blue skies, it was beautiful. You could see the mountain in the distance, nice. Within 2 weeks, the smoke started coming in, and it got really quite bad for about, I would say, about 1 week, and probably a few days. We were the worst in the world for pollution. It was so bad that if you had any lung or problems health-wise, you would have to be careful. All right. Yeah, it was like living in an ashtray. Seriously, like living in an ashtray. It's very bad. I'm a reasonably healthy person, all right, and I've dealt living in Sydney and Australia and bushfires, but it was literally like having the house next door on fire for 3 or 4 weeks straight, smoke coming through. You could see the thickness of the smoke. You couldn't see the other end of the street through the thickness of the smoke. That's how bad it was. And you're breathing that in. Everybody's throwing on masks. Everybody's buying dehumidifiers for the condos in here. All right. I had to keep everything closed. The aircon's fine because it filters the air, so it was okay. The aircon goes up because you're using it more, your electricity bill. It's pretty bad, okay? Now, last year, apparently, was the worst it's ever been, okay? I was hearing that from people this year, saying it was the worst, but this year was pretty close to being that bad as well. Now, it's all over Thailand, all right? It's just really bad up here, and Chiang Mai has that reputation for it. It's never going to end. It's always going to happen every year. Can't avoid that. There's no solution, really. And it's the talk of the town all over the media when it's happening. Now that it's over, it'll be forgotten about, and until March comes around next year, April, and it starts up again, and the same thing. Will I go away? Yes, I would think so. I think in April, end of March, early April, which was when the worst of it was, I'm probably going to go down south to one of the islands. Fortunately, my landlady, who owns this condo, when I rented here, she owns several in the building here. She owns a property down on one of the islands, and I think it's Koh Chang. So I think she's offered me I could go down there next year if I want and stay for a month in her condo down there. So yes, I will probably go away and live I'll spend a month somewhere down south. Yeah, for sure. Because it was pretty bad. It was not very good. The worst part of it really was not just the smoke in the air, it was the fact that you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't walk out in the streets for too long, otherwise you'd start getting itchy throat and yeah, there were a couple of days where my eyes were watering from the smoke. You can't go out on your boat, on your bike, because the scenery, there's just no view anywhere you go. So yes, I would go south. That's the biggest drawback of northern Thailand, is the smoky season. Yeah. It's also very hot that time of the year as well. So that, along with the heat, makes it hard. So let's see. Trip on two wheels is saying, let's all go across the street and get a banana roti. I used to do that. I haven't been down there for a couple of weeks now. I don't make my own, but I've got bananas here I buy. A fresh big bunch of bananas, and then I buy yogurt, like just plain yogurts, and then I've got honey, and I make my own yogurt with the bananas. I've also buy eggs, and I do breakfast. I do scrambled egg. So yeah, I haven't been seeing the girls down there for my roti. I'll have to go down and get another one maybe next week. Was I saying, my understanding, Pete, is that you can go back at 65, 67, right? If you go back at 67, you get the pension straight away. You just have to wait the 2-year window to make it portable. Okay, yes. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the whole point, is I want it portable, isn't it? I don't want to live on a pension in Australia. So, because it's $1,000 a fortnight, isn't it? I think it's about $1,100 a fortnight. In fact, you do lose a few benefits when you're not in the country. You lose the healthcare card, you lose rent assist, and a couple of things that they have. Your electricity, they give you a bit extra for. Obviously for a good reason. Yeah, you're not living in the country anymore. So on $1,000 a fortnight, $500 a week. Yeah, how can you live on that in Australia? My rent was $500 a week. No, my rent was $250 a week in my apartment in Sydney, owned by my father, and my rent was half what it would if he'd had a normal tenant in there. I mean, you wouldn't eat, would you, living on a pension in Australia? No. I'm getting the pension takeout. Thank you. You know, $500 a fortnight. $1,000 Australian a month. Let's Google that one, shall we? 1,000 Australian dollars in Thai baht. That's 24,000 a month. Okay, let's put that in a bit of perspective. 24,500 Thai baht in a month. Let's round it to 25,000 a baht a Thai month Australian pension. I'm paying only 8,000 in this nice 46 square metre studio condo. All right, only 8,000. So I'm like a third of that is my rent. All right, if I was to somehow spend an extra 2,000 a week on food, that's 16,000. We're still well under on food. Let's bump that up a little bit. Let's make it, I mean, that's pretty comfortable. I can live quite well on that. All right. Now, if I'm smart like I plan to, my superannuation part of my investing that will be to buy a condo. So straight up, I won't be paying any rent, will I? So there's 8,000 I'm saving. So yeah, I think I'll be fine. And of course, it'll probably be a bit more than that in 10 years' time. Not much, I'm sure. They don't put the pension up very often, do they? But that's okay. Let's see. But yeah, you need to get that takeaway pension. Jeff Reed's saying, oh, Jim there. Hello, Jim. Glad you can make it. How are you, buddy? You going to come out here for a visit, mate? Anybody's welcome. Or long term. Jeff Reed saying, just got back, travelled around Asia, 12 months, stay in Chiang Mai for a month, beautiful spot. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, I've done all the backpacking throughout Asia, been everywhere in Asia, except the Philippines. I haven't been there, but yeah, I've spent quite a bit of time in Thailand, and Indonesia I love as well. Java, Bali, Sumbawa, Flores, Sulawesi, all those places. Indonesia is really, I love, that would be my, Indonesia is not something you hear people talk about retiring to. I don't know the requirements at all, but I could live there. I could really live there. Fantastic. Sacrilege says, the banana roti, is it? Yeah. That does it. No roti. I'm not coming to visit. Next thing you'll tell me there's no mud crabs in Thailand. Oh, there are. Don't worry. In fact, I actually went over to that. I know you were looking at places to stay. We were looking at places for you to stay on your visit over here around November. And that condo I thought was a condo down here, residence, KS Residence. Well, no, not that one. There is actually a big hotel down there that's way expensive. In fact, right next door to here, there's a massive hotel that's pretty much empty most of the time. Again, it's low season. But I went and looked at the condos over there they're renting. There's a condo cheap there, 1-bedroom studio for as cheap as $6,500. Let's do that. You're in the US. Let's check that out. 6,500 Thai baht in US dollars. That didn't work. 6,500 Thai baht in US dollars. It wants to be, let's try that differently. 6,000, come on, 6,500 Thai baht in US dollars. Doesn't like me saying half. There. So you can rent a studio condo. It's a little bit smaller than this, so it's about 35 square meters, with a balcony, nice, well lit, air conditioned. Right, they have breakfast downstairs, like a small thing you can make coffee and have biscuits and stuff. Beautiful girl at the reception, really nice. She took me, I asked to look at one and we went and looked at 3. Okay, check this out, $177 a month is the rent. So that's $40, $45 a week rent. My God. Now, granted, it didn't have a microwave in there, but you can go buy a microwave for a couple of $1,000 baht, no problem. You know, but you fix it up, $175 a month rent, US. And really good location, quiet, set back from the main street out here. Beautiful garden area. It has a chemist and you can walk to the shops, everything. Really nice. That was their cheaper one. They had ones up to around what I'm paying here, 8,000, and their top apartment was a 1-bedroom apartment, which I didn't look at. It was about 9,500. But still, there you go. Look at that. What else we got, Jeff? Do you talk to any other YouTubers in Chiang Mai, like Walkabout Wayne? Yes, Walkabout Wayne. I haven't met Walkabout Wayne yet. I do watch his channel. He's a character, isn't he? And he's been doing a bit of exploring outside Chiang Mai lately. But he does some good videos, so I do watch his channel quite a lot and highly recommend him. He's been a good source of information when I was looking at where I wanted to live. Also, John in Chiang Mai is another one. He doesn't do it so much now, although he has done a couple recently, but he used to do a lot of condo reviews. And that gave me a good outlook of the price I would be paying for what I wanted and what's available. I knew exactly what I wanted before I left Australia, and I knew what I wanted to do. for the condo. I wanted a swimming pool. I wanted to be up on a high floor. I wanted to have open views, not looking into someone else's condo and balcony. I wanted a balcony. And yeah, I found it. And thanks to his channel as well, I found Perfect Homes. And I highly recommend Perfect Homes, real estate agents, for finding you your condo that you want to stay in, or house, whatever you're after. It's just a simple case of contacting. The office isn't too far from here. It's up near Central Festival on the way there from here. You can just walk in the door, speak to one of the girls there, walk in with a list of what you know you want, your price you want to pay, the location you want to be in, what facilities you'd like to have, all that, and then they'll come back to you in the next day or the same day and go through their books and go, right, we've got all these that suit everything that you're looking for. And straight up, there it is. They'll meet you there at the condo. Just jump on the back like I did. I just called a Grab, which is like an Uber motorcycle. And he took me out. I meet one of their agents, one of the girls out there. Take a look at the condo. One tip I'll give you, when you're looking at any website for real estate and looking at the photos, even Facebook groups are quite good too. Just be aware of the photos. A lot of these people are using GoPro cameras and ones with fisheye and wide angle lenses, and they really make things look bigger than what they really are. So like my first experience was, she showed me a condo. I looked at it. It had everything. It said 35 square meters, but I couldn't think of what that was in my head. So we went out and looked at it. We went up top floor, corner unit, open views, really nice, but it was so small. Oh my God. We walked in the door. You could take 6 steps and you'd be at the balcony. You've just crossed the kitchen and lounge room onto the balcony. The balcony, you could maybe squeeze a chair there next to the washing machine and put your feet up on the railing. Good luck. That was all you had for a balcony. The bedroom was tiny. As far as I'm concerned, a bedroom is just to sleep. Well, unless you're lucky and you get up to other activities, but you know what I mean. So you really, you're not going to spend a great deal of time in the bedroom, so you don't need a big size, and that was okay. And there was a wall with a TV on it. And what happens is the TV, the whole wall, you turn it around so the TV's on the other side, which is your lounge room on the other side. The lounge area was smaller than the bedroom. The whole thing was too small, and I've gone, she knew by the look on my face it was too small. So then we came out to this place and we had a look, and the moment I walked into that door and I saw the kitchen, I saw the bathroom, I saw how open this is, I saw the view. I'm not looking onto any other, looking out my window you can't see another high-rise at all. It's all just looking out into the distance. Balconies are small, but I can sit out there and it's got enough space. It's really good. Sorry, mate. You're right. Sorry, I just saw that at the bottom of the chat from Wazza. It's not 1,000 a month, it's 1,000 a fortnight, of course. Well, that's even better, isn't it? Hey, that bumps it up to twice as much as I thought I had. There you go. And I was trying to live off on a pension over here and saying you can do that on 1,000 a month. Wow, well, it just doubled. What do you know? There you go. So even better. There you go. Maybe I could start up a new hobby of drinking now. I can afford to. There we go. Thanks, mate. Sorry, I got that completely wrong. $1,000 a fortnight is your pension. 2,000 a month. 48,000 baht, not 24. All right, so that means my rent here is less than a quarter of that, you know. So there you go. And even on 1,000 a fortnight, 500 a week. That's why I was a bit confused talking about my condo, my apartment in Sydney. I was paying 500 a week, but that was half of what a normal tenant. So when I moved out, my father's now got new tenants in there, and they're paying literally, I think it's about 800 a fortnight, or nearly 1,000 a fortnight rent in that apartment. So yeah, I was paying half, and I found it was hard to save money. Okay, so yeah, so even 500 a month on an Aussie pension in Australia, 500 a week, 1,000 a fortnight. That's still hard, isn't it? That's still hard work, especially with the bills. You know, it was normal. Like a quarterly electricity bill was about getting up to about $500-600. When I first moved in there 2 years earlier, it was only $300, just over $300. That's how much it had gone up. So anyway, so yeah. But I suggest that Perfect Homes is the place to go. They're really good like that. They can help you out, take a lot of stress out of it. I mean, I found this place. I stayed in a hotel in the north of Chiang Mai City for just a week. I rented it for a week before I left. Found it on bookings.com, okay? And I stayed there. What I paid there for a week was more than I pay here now for a month. Well, way under. So, but within 4 days of arriving in Thailand, through Perfect Homes, I found the condo to move into, and I moved in. And you need to have figured out that as well, because when you move into a condo here, you need to pay your first months in advance and a first month deposit. So in my case, 8,000 baht. I needed to pay 8,000, 16,000 up front, which was my first month's deposit and first month's rent. So you need to be prepared for that. The real estate agents don't charge you anything, okay? As a person looking for a rental, you're not charged. That all goes on to the person with the property to rent. So they'll meet you at as many condos as you need to go to meet up. There's no charge to you. They'll do the contracts for you. They'll work out the contracts. They'll send the Perfect Homes agent will come in here, photograph the place, do a full inspection, very detailed inspection, all right? Every little mark on everything they'll photograph and record, and it all goes into your contract. It's about 30-page contract, which you sign, and for both your parties. I mean, you don't want to get blamed for something that was damaged when you already moved in. I've got a really good landlady here. She's fantastic. The first couple of weeks I had a problem with one of the sinks blocking in the bathroom. That day they sent some maintenance out and they fixed it for me. I broke the jug stopped working for some reason. It just, I don't know, it just didn't want to boil water anymore. My fault, I guess. I didn't worry. So I just went out and bought a new jug, put that in there, sent a photo to my landlady saying the other jug stopped working, but I've replaced it with this one. And good, she gives me a thumbs up. We're all happy. I pay my rent when it's due every morning on that day of the month, and it's all fine. So it's great. Do you recommend Thai health insurance or get Australian health insurance before you leave the country? All right, let me have another sip of coffee. Okay. Australia will not give you health insurance to cover you here in Thailand. All right, for anywhere overseas, actually. All right, you can get travel insurance, but travel insurance is not health insurance. Okay. So, that being the case, no, you can't get health insurance. You've got to get health insurance here in Thailand. There's plenty of options. The younger you are, the cheaper it is, and the easier it is to get. My age right now at 57 is fine. I'm okay. I have no previous health conditions that I'd want to disclose anyway. I did have my embolism weeks before I left Australia and came here that almost killed me, where a blood clot went through into my heart and into my lung, and I stopped breathing almost. Well, literally, yeah. That was bad. But I'm on thinners now. I'm on thinners, which I've only got until the end of August before I finish 6 months of those. And then I'm pretty sure I'll be fine. So, health insurance, you can get it over here. Wait till you get over here to get it. All right. And that's another reason why applying for a retirement visa in your own country before you come to Thailand is not a good idea, because the requirements for that is to have health insurance. And it has to be through the government, Thai government authorized insurers, which are expensive and they give you shit cover. All right. So another thing I highly recommend is don't apply for the retirement visa until you get here. Okay, it's a lot cheaper and it's a lot simpler, really simpler. Now, talking about health insurance, I don't have any health insurance. I am taking a risk by not having health insurance. I understand that. But from my experience in Thailand is that if you have small medical issues, it is very cheap here in Thailand to get treatment. All right. For things like going to the chemist downstairs here, the chemist has a wealth of information. I had a rash on my arm here, kept coming up on my arm here. I could have gone to the doctor, but at the hospital across the road, I went to him and he gave me some antihistamine. He gave me some cream. He said in 3 days, it'll be gone if you put this cream on twice a day and take one of these antihistamines twice a day. And it was gone, done. What did that cost me? $4. 4 Aussie dollars for the cream and the tablets. The doctor over here at the hospital, and this is a private hospital, okay, which is known to be a little bit more expensive than the public hospitals, but the care is pretty much just as good, I think. Will cost me $350 to see a doctor for a normal consultation. When I came to Thailand, I went straight over there. One of the first things I did was I went there because in Australia I had a blood test due to the embolism I had, and for some reason they didn't take enough blood sample and they didn't get an accurate result. When I went to my doctor for my results, she said that they messed up your blood test. But at that point, I was flying out of the country next week and I didn't have time to do another blood test. So what my doctor did was said, we're going to go on the safe side and I'm going to put you on the blood thinners for the 6 months, which is the maximum amount of time. That if you came back with a bad result on the blood test, that's what I would do. We'd put you on these blood thinners, a Pixapan, for 6 months. So I'm going to do that anyway, just to be safe. But when you go to Thailand, go over there and I'll write a thing for you to get a blood test and get it done properly. So what I did was I come over here and I did that. So I went and saw the doctor here. As a foreigner in the hospital here, you'll see a doctor who speaks perfectly good English, so there's no problem there. Costs 350 baht, which is just over about $12 to visit the doctor. That was it. He organised for me to come back to get a blood test. I went and had the blood test the next day, got the result the same day, okay, and went back and saw him. The blood test cost the equivalent, I think, of about $8. And then the visit back to him was another $10 where we got the result and everything was good. But he also recommended stay on those blood thinners. They can't do you any harm. And so that's what I've done. I went to a urologist to see about my PSA, which is another level that he was concerned about on that blood test result. It's to do with prostate cancer. All right, and it's a common thing, but what it turned out was that blood test was a bit more detailed, and it was a specialist I went to see, the urologist. That cost me about about $20 to see him. So you can see what I mean, $20 to see him, and that was all done. No problem at all. That result I had showed it a little bit high, and I went back a month later after changing my diet a little bit, and it had dropped down, so no problem there. So, I mean, last year, I think it was last year when I was in Thailand visiting on holiday with my girlfriend at the time, I kicked my big toe and not fractured it, dislocated my big toe. Oh, it was terrible. It was sticking up like, it was like that. Oh my God, I looked down and thought, it's broken for sure, my God. And I was out in this national park on the motorbike by myself when I kicked this rock. Don't kick rocks, stupid thing to do, especially if you're wearing sandals, all right? Yeah, so I jumped on my motorbike and went to the hospital. And now this was a small village I was telling you about earlier, tiny village with a small local public hospital there. Oh, it was a decent size hospital. It's a 7-Eleven size town, okay? I went in there, I've told this story before. They gave me an x-ray. My foot, my toe, numbed it all. And then he went there and he started twisting and bending my toe back and putting it all back in when they found out it was dislocated, not broken. And I'm videotaping the whole thing while they're doing it on my phone. I couldn't feel a thing. It was good. The anaesthetic worked 100%. Clipped it back in, all good. Bandaged it all up, splintered it. And then then they did another x-ray straight after. And then I went back a week later because I was fine. They gave me painkillers, but I didn't need them. I was in no pain. So I went back after a week. He told me to go wear this thing for 2 weeks. Problem is, I couldn't go swimming, and it was hot, and I had to walk around, hobbling around with thongs trying to wear them. It was awkward. So I went back after a week. I said, look, my foot feels fine. Can I get this stuff off? So they took me for another x-ray, and sure enough, he said, no problem. So they took off the bandages and the splint, and they did all that. They looked at it, and they're all happy, and everything's fine. They give me another x-ray. I don't know why, another x-ray. So after all of that, I had to pay my bill. I walked around to the reception there at the hospital to pay, and I had my Bangkok bank there, and I was worried because I knew what it was I didn't know what it was going to cost. So I had like 6,000-7,000 baht on me, and I thought I can always pay extra if I need with my Bangkok card. I walk in there, she writes out the bill. All right, do you know how much it cost me? All of that, everything I went through, the x-rays, the anaesthetics, all the stuff, $35 Australian. That was it. At the time, I said nothing. I didn't question it. I paid my 1,500 baht, whatever it was. Paid that. Walked out of there. And I just couldn't believe it. $35. So I'm not too concerned about having little accidents and things like that. Okay, all right, I ride a motorbike. I could have a more serious accident. I think I can cover, but I will eventually get some health cover, particularly if I ride my bike more often. I don't ride it very often. I'll go out once a week. I might just go down the road, do my shopping today, but otherwise I don't ride it too much. But I will get health cover, and you can check around. There's sites that offer it that's not too expensive. It depends on a lot of things. I can't really tell prices. What else we got here? I also watch another channel called Faraway Fred. He did an interview. If you want to Google his channel, Faraway Fred, or check it out on YouTube. He interviewed me a few weeks back. It was quite fun. I told him all about my life here and my move over here and what I think of it and that. So he's got an interesting channel. He does some really good videos of cafes and places to visit all around here in Chiang Mai. A really nice fellow. So yeah. What else we got? Australia is a lot like Western countries now. Unaffordable for many, yep. Fortunately, most won't look at other options and will suffer in silence. I know. Gosh, How many times do I see back in Sydney people that past retirement age working as couriers, pushing trolleys and doing deliveries because they can't afford to live on just the pension, and the pension, I think on the pension you can work a small amount of hours in a week. It's very restricted. It might be something like 20 hours or something like that, and they have to do that to supplement the pension because they just can't get by. It's not good at all. What else we got? Great videos and great information, Pete. Can't wait to get to Thailand and catch up one day when we arrive, for sure. Yeah, definitely. We'll meet up for a cappuccino somewhere, or a beer. I don't mind. I don't mind having one Chiang beer. Anyway, I don't know if anyone has any questions or anything they'd like to know. I'm going to finish up reasonably soon. I just want to bring up something that's been in the news fairly recently, and just checking my messages here. No, we're all good. There's a lot of talk about changes to the visa requirements and stuff here. Talk about visa exemptions when you arrive in the country, going from 30 days to 60 days. There was obviously a lot of false media out there. People jumped on the false information and took it all as fact as of the 1st of this month, when this thing was supposed to be implemented, which it never was. It was actually just announced that it was coming. There's talk of it being from the end of this month to the beginning of July. Now, we're a week out from the end of this month. Monday week will be the 1st of July. I would expect next week to be a lot more announcements on that. All right. And just remember that the king himself has to sign off on all these things to make them law. All right. So whether it's coming from the department, the Bangkok Post, Pattaya Post, what other news agency of different reputability, that are all of different levels of being reputable, all right, in their reporting, even government departments like the Department of Immigration and so forth. Don't jump to conclusions, all right? Wait until it's officially happening. Don't make any plans, all right? Because one of the big things with that 60-day exemption means that if you're leaving Australia, for example, there's no point in applying for a tourist visa, okay? They highly suggested you apply for a tourist visa when you're coming here with the intention of getting a retirement visa, because it gives you 60 days, which is more time for you to go through the application process of the retirement visa. But you need not pay that 60 Aussie dollars, I think it is, and go through that with your embassy in Sydney or in Australia for a tourist visa, because you'll get 60 days when you arrive on visa exemption. You don't need to apply. But if that comes in, all right, that will make a difference to that. There will be no point to having a tourist visa at all when visiting Thailand, because you get the same amount of time. You will get the same amount of time when you arrive at the airport stamped on your passport, and it's free. There's no charge for that, okay? Darren, hello, mate. Welcome. What are your thoughts on the Thai elite visas? I think that they're too expensive, way over my bracket of expenses, and anybody who has already recently got one is going to get screwed over if they bring in these new rules, because the new visa requirements are going to make it much easier. I mean, they're talking about you don't need to have that health insurance to a certain amount. See, when COVID came in, they increased the travel insurance requirement. I think it was 4 million baht. Okay. Obviously, because if you got COVID and you had to go into a quarantine and all that, you needed to be covered. So your travel insurance, your health insurance on the visa for tourist visa, for retirement visa, would cover that. But now they're talking about lowering that to only 400,000, back to what it was pre-COVID. That's all fine. But again, that's only for people applying outside the country for the retirement visa. It's not a requirement when you're in the country to have health insurance when applying for the retirement visa. The Attire Elite visa, I'm not too sure on the details of that. Again, it's not something I went into because it didn't apply to my circumstances. But I do know it's much more expensive. I think it's valid for 5 years. All right. I don't know if you still need to do the 90-day reporting on the Elite visa. I think you do. I think that's still part of it. But when you think about it, when I go and renew my visa in a year from now, next year, it's only going to cost me 1,900 baht to go to immigration and do that. That's all. 1,900 baht to renew it for another year. And my 90-day reporting is free. Okay, when I do my 90-day reporting, it doesn't cost me anything. All right, whether I do it online, which they have problems with, I've heard, or you go and do it in person at the drive-through, where if you're lucky and the line's not long, you can be in and out through there within minutes. All right, it's free. So we're talking 1,500. Let's see, 1,500 Thai baht in Australian dollars. So the retirement visa to renew every year is only 61 Australian dollars. That Thai Elite visa's got a lot of restrictions. It's pretty expensive. There's a digital nomads one as well, where they're encouraging people to come over here that work for companies overseas. Like people, for instance, if you're a person that works for a company setting appointments for clients, well, most of the time you don't need to be in an office to do that. You can do that remotely. And a lot of people over here, a lot of girls I've met here, even in Chiang Mai or in Thailand, they could be anywhere in the world doing that, setting appointments and scheduling appointments and things like that. Online sales and things like that can be done from your laptop anywhere in the world, really. So, and that's what that is all about. What you got to be a bit careful of is the money coming into the country. So, was I saying, not sure if you're aware, Jetstar will be flying direct flights Brisbane to Bangkok. Yeah, I think I've heard about that, yes, come December. Maybe since you are from this neck of the woods. Yeah, that's right. That'd be fantastic. I think, don't they already... Oh, Jetstar. Okay, yeah, you can get a Thai Airways. I fly Thai Airways where I can. I got a really good fare when I flew out here. A one-way ticket, of course, because I wasn't coming back. $800. And it was a direct flight. It left here in the morning. Left Sydney. That was from Sydney because I was living in Sydney. To Bangkok, a direct flight, arrived here in the morning, and then I connected I arrived here in the afternoon. It was about 8-9 hour flight. That's right, Jeff Reed, yes, 1,900 baht to extend the visa. Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, you can get a visa, extend your visa as well. So at the moment you get 30 days on an exemption, and then you can pay 1,900 baht to extend that for another 30 days. No problem. And what some people do is they'll leave the country. They'll hop on a visa run bus, whip over into Laos or Cambodia, and come back and get stamped with another 30 days, which you can, I think, extend again. So there's ways around that. So what we're talking about is... those flights would be very good. Jetstar is just another airfare option you can go with. One-way ticket too. Also, you're coming out here to live, one-way ticket. Don't just have a one-way ticket, all right? You need to have an onward travel ticket. Okay, so in Australia, particularly if you go to Flight Centre, we all know Flight Centre. I used to be a big supporter of Flight Centre. Used to be great service. Unfortunately, not so much anymore. A lot of the airlines they don't deal with anymore. you can't book an AirAsia flight through Flight Centre anymore. They completely dropped them because of during the COVID years. But not only that, but they will try and talk you into their travel insurance, which is way, way expensive. I mean, they tried to talk me into travel insurance when I came over here last year. They cost as much as the airfare, almost. It's ridiculous. Unbelievable. There are better options online, all right? Anyway, so have an onward travel ticket, okay? So in my case, I jumped on Flight Scanner. I bought a ticket on Cambodian Airlines from Bangkok to Phnom Penh, return, okay? So it cost me $100. I think it was less than $100. So if I was ever questioned when I come through immigration at Bangkok Airport, you're on a one-way ticket. They see that you don't have a return ticket, and they want to question why. I can pull out my Cambodian booking and show that I have, and I did have it booked for in a month's time before my visa expired on the visa I had arrived, that I was arriving in, that I was leaving the country, and it would have been fine. So always have that ticket, even though you never use it. I mean, I didn't have one that was refundable either, which would have cost a bit more, but I wasn't worried about losing $100, knowing that I'd get into the country without a problem. But always have an onward travel ticket, and a whip over to Phnom Penh is one of the cheapest flights you can get. And who knows, in a month you might want to use it and go over there and come back. But yeah, I didn't, because I was in the middle of my application for the retirement visa. So that's all good. What was I going to say? So that would be good, be able to fly direct. Because it's high season then, so it'll be very popular. Yeah, I'd like to see a Chiang Mai direct flight would be even better. But anyway, but you can pick up some good cheap flights. And Jeff's saying, been watching the Narrow Gate YouTube channel. Yes, as well. He's based in Chiang Mai as well. Yes, he is. I'm sure I'll run into him one day too. He did a video just the other day on his motorbike. Riding around Chiang Mai. He was heading off to go somewhere and thought he'd videotape it. And another one, a lot of good information on his channel as well. So definitely. We're all going into things that my channel is discovering Thailand, of course, because I wanted to give it a broad title, because I want to be able to expand in future. I mean, right in the early days now, it's all about me moving here and what I have to go through and all the experiences, getting a driver's license, the visa, learning about the place, the banking, all that stuff that I can share back with people. But eventually, I'll have done all that, and there's not much more to add. Of course, I'll do my first 90-day report video to run people through and show them how that works. And how that works out all easy, I hope. But now I'm also doing things with places I'm visiting for the first time and going out to and discovering what you can do here in this city. And who knows, I want to be able to see more of Thailand too. I have extensively travelled through Thailand, and I have intentions of doing that again. So to share that with everybody would be fantastic. Tony Montana, hey buddy, welcome mate. Good morning to you. It is still morning. Well, I started the show a bit an hour later, just for you mate, just for you, because I thought you might want to have a bit of a sleep in, not get up too early. And I think this is a better time. I've noticed the numbers, we're up around 20 people in here watching, so that's really good. So I think I'll stick to this 9 a.m. start over here. Gave me a bit of a slight rest as well before. You just got home, so I'm a bit late on here. Hope you're well. Yes, mate, I'm good. Just got home. Where have you been at this time? Been out shopping or out for breakfast? Darren saying, thanks for all the info, Pete. Appreciate it. You're welcome. No problem. Trip on 2 wheels. Yabba dabba do. Yes. Maria, it cost us 1,900 baht to extend our visa. Yes, you can do that. Well, basically the extension of whatever visa you have seems to be standard at 1,900 baht. Yeah. Tripod 2 wheels. I'll invoice you later for that. Yeah, no, not a problem at all. I'll put it with the rest of the invoices. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to wind up here and finish up. We've just gone under 1 hour and 3/4. That's great. Went out for breakfast. Good. I'm going out for a brunch. I'm going to go do my shopping. And there's a place up the road that's got lots of food places. You can get fried bananas up there. I love those fried bananas. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to eat before I go do my shopping. That's always a good thing to do, isn't it? Otherwise, you end up buying more than you need. Anyway, all right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Keep an eye out for... I've got another video coming out tomorrow. I remember what it is now. I know, hopeless. I went for a walk through the local Nong Hai little market up here. It's only once a week on Saturday afternoon. It's a very local market. You can walk through there. It's just a short video, just to have a look at what was available, meet some of the store people in there, have a look at some of the unusual foods, like some of the bugs and crickets they were selling, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just an interesting video, so check that out. All right, thank you, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You're welcome to join the channel, would be fantastic. We need a few more members on the channel, would be great. And share it as well. Hit that share button. If you're in a Facebook group or something like that, you know, other people might be interested, or you got friends thinking of doing this, coming out here and want to know what it's all about. And also down there, you've got links to my email. You can email me if you want to know any detailed information about here. If you're planning to come out, I can go into more detail on the emails. There's also links down there to Amazon. I've actually put a couple of Lonely Planet books and rough guides. They're always good to read. Back in the day, I used to travel with those, and they were the way to go. So you can do that. Also, we talked about Wise. Definitely my go-to, and a lot of people use. All right, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to go now. All right. Thanks, everybody. And you're welcome back on here next week for live